Respected Director Sir, Joint Director Shri Sanjeev Chopra Sir, Joint Director Shri Vishan Mariala Sir, Joint Director Shri LBS Singh, Joint Director Ma'am Ranjan Chopra, the Controller of Examination Srimati Jaspreet Talwar, faculty colleagues, my dear officer trainees, guests, I wish you all a very pleasant, warm, and happy morning. And I do welcome you all on this auspicious occasion. I start the day with a vandana to Goddess Saraswati. या कुंदेन्दु तुषारहर धावला या शुभ्र वस्त्रवर्ता या वीणवर दंड मंदतकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्मसुत शंकरा प्रभार्थ विहिर देवाय सदा वंदता सामान पतु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जद्यपदा. My dear friends, I do seek blessings for all of us from Ma Saraswati for perfection of memory, for enhancement of intellectual ability, and for success in all our future endeavors. मेरे घर तुम आओ माँ, वीणा मधुर बजाओ माँ, तेरी ऐसी अनुपम छाया जिसमें सारा स्वर्ग समाया, जिस पर होती कृपा आपकी, निर्मल होती उसकी काया, उल्लास जगाने वाली सप्त सुरों में गाओ माँ। दुर्गा काली तुम हो तारा, भांति भांति है रूप तुम्हारा, चंड मुंड हैं आज दौड़ते, इस जग का बस तुम ही सहारा। दुष्ट दलन के लिए हेतु अब फिर तलवार उठाओ माँ, वीणा मधुर बजाओ माँ। ऋषि मुनियों कि तुम हो वाणी, तुम हो इस जग की कल्याणी, ऐसा स्वर है मधुर आपका, झूम रहा है प्राणी प्राणी। गीत कला संगीत का मधुरस, प्रतिपल तुम झलकाओ माँ, वीणा मधुर बजाओ माँ। थैंक यू। माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, we are witnessing a fresh morning, a new day, a day filled with new hopes, new aspirations. We do not know what awaits us. The future is ready to embrace you. I would be failing in my duties if I do not revive you today and always. So I would again recite a poem which has been written by Shri Harivansh Rai Bachchan, and it is titled as Agnipat. वृक्ष हों भले खड़े, हो घने हों बड़े, एक पत्र छाह भी मांग मत, मांग मत, मांग मत। अग्निपथ अग्निपथ अग्निपथ। तू न थकेगा कभी, तू न थमेगा कभी, तू न मुड़ेगा कभी। कर शपथ कर शपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। ये महान दृश्य है, चल रहा मनुष्य है, अश्रु स्वेद रक्त से लथपथ, 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 अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। You will have to tread with all caution, with all your wisdom, with all your learnings. My dear friends, this is what the future will offer you. Roses as well as thorns. I would again recite a couplet from a poet whose name I do not know, but the lines are: लगता है हल्दी घाटी का संग्राम अभी तक थमा नहीं, कितने प्रताप खप गए, राष्ट्र का रंग अभी तक जमा नहीं, जो भाव हृदय में रमना था वो भाव अभी तक रमा नहीं। So my dear friends, we all know we cannot change the direction of the winds, but what we can do is we can adjust our sails. So I wish you all a very good luck and do your best in whatever way you can. Thank you. Now, may I request the faculty, the guests, and the officer trainees to rise for the Academy song.
आओ धर्म तेरी, आओ कर्म तेरी, आओ उन्नत शील नहीं भाई। आओ धर्म तेरी, आओ कर्म तेरी, आओ उन्नत शील नहीं भाई। भूली बेटा बेटा, आओ सबे भगवान, साथे अच्छे भगवान भावे जाए। भूली बेटा बेटा, आओ सबे भगवान, साथे अच्छे भगवान भावे जाए। रहो धर्म में धीर, रहो कर्म में धीर, रखो उन्नत शील करो ना। रहो धर्म में धीर, रहो कर्म में धीर, रखो उन्नत शील करो ना। नाना भाषा नाना मत नाना परिधान, विविधे मासे देखो मिलन महान। नाना भाषा नाना मत नाना परिधान, विविधे मासे देखो मिलन महान। देखिया भारत महाजाति रूप था, जग जान माने बेविशाल, जग मन माने बेविशाल। किलो रुदिया से अलील बिमुलन, तले नींद निर्वाणी। किलो रुदिया से अलील बिमुलन, तले नींद निर्वाणी। भूली बेटा बेटा, आओ सबे भगवान, साथे अच्छे भगवान भावे जाए। भूली बेटा बेटा, आओ सबे भगवान, साथे अच्छे भगवान भावे जाए। वहाँ धर्म तेर, वहाँ कर नित्य वीर, वहाँ उन्नत शील नहीं भाई। वहाँ धर्म तेर, वहाँ कर नित्य वीर, वहाँ उन्नत शील नहीं भाई। नाना भाषा नाना मत नाना परिधान, विविधे मासे देखो मिलन महान। नाना भाषा नाना मत नाना परिधान, विविधे मासे देखो मिलन महान। देखिया भारत महाजाति रूपा, जग जन माने बेविशाल, जग मन माने बेविशाल। आओ धर्म तेर, आओ कर्म तेर, आओ उन्नत
Dr. Prem Singh, the course coordinator for Phase 2, batch of 2012 and 14 for the IAS to present the course report for the House.
The chief guest of the function and the director of academy, Shri Rajiv Kapoor, my colleagues on the course team, Shri Manas PC and Professor A.S. Ramachandra, members of the faculty, my young colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are gathered here to mark the formal culmination of a journey that began almost 2 years ago. It must be a rare occasion that the same faculty member who welcomed you in this academy as a course coordinator of foundation course is bidding you goodbye as a course coordinator of It is my privilege to present the course report for the IAS professional course phase 2 of the 2012 batch. Sir, seated before us today is a group of 170 bright and enthusiastic officer trainees, 167 of whom represent the Indian Administrative Services and 3 are from the Royal Bhutan Civil Services. Ever since they stepped into the hallowed portals of this academy in 2012, after clearing the first CSAT Government of Civil Services examination, they have moved from strength to strength, imbibing in themselves the values that the academy stands for, and each of our faculty colleagues have strived to inculcate. The Phase 2 program, which commenced on 30th of June, saw many changes from the past. These changes were incorporated based on the feedback received from previous programs and also detailed feedback sought from the officer trainees of last few batches. One such change was revised format of presentations of law and district assignment. To avoid the repetition, select totees were now required to make presentations on specific themes instead of mandatorily having each and every officer trainee giving district assignment presentations inside the classrooms. The district assignment presentations were followed by summary of learning outcomes for each of the officer trainees. The law presentations were organized around specific sections of law, and the faculty members grading the presentations reinforced these learnings after the presentations. The course team also introduced concept of development economics arranged around 5 themes of public distribution system, health, education, rural development and institution. These themes were discussed through cases wherein the officer trainees worked on these cases to find contextual and contemporary responses based on their knowledge of development economics. These modules were based on MIT course on challenges of global poverty. A 2-day module on leadership was organized for the officer trainees, which was essentially an attempt to help understand officer trainees their own value base and also align individual values with the larger civil service values. The 4 seminars on effective SDOs, effective CO Zilla Parishad, effective municipal commissioners and effective district magistrates was conducted to provide a focused interaction with some of the immediate senior colleagues of the officer trainees. These seminars were woven around innovations done by the officers in the field and also discussed challenges of handling these assignments in a complex environment like ours. The course team consciously endeavored to provide a greater time for the officer trainees to share their experiences even outside the confines of the classroom. I take great pleasure in informing that the course was witness to some of the eminent guest speakers coming and addressing the officer trainees in diverse subjects such as governance, public service delivery, strategy, disaster management, handling revenue costs, corruption, education, health, and TQM in government, to name a few. The officer trainees were also exposed to host of Prime Minister's awardees for excellence in public service, and the course also afforded sufficient opportunity to the officer trainees to further their skills in the use of ICT and the official language of their assigned cadres. As a part of the program, the officer trainees were sent to Singapore for 1 week foreign study tour. The study tour was organized by Civil Service College Singapore and was a healthy mix of academic inputs and field visits. The academic inputs covered ranged from fundamentals of governance, translating vision into action, overview of Singapore's master plan for land use policy, public housing in Singapore, economic development, and public service delivery. And most of the afternoons, the officer trainees were also taken for various field visits. This group displayed great willingness outside the classroom, and evenings and the weekends were ever big activities. Be it management games, quizzes, DJ nights, Sangeet evening, photography competition, movies, trek to Lal Kiba, cycle expedition to Dhanoti, iftar party, creating an everlasting collage, the home turf. Officer trainees displayed high level of enthusiasm. On the sports field too, they participated in a number of team games, gully cricket with Phase 4 and Happy Valley Club, volleyball matches amongst themselves and Happy Valley Club, badminton tournament which drew huge crowds and heavy competition from Phase 2, Phase 4 and Happy Valley Club, and the final cultural program that they had put up on 20th was a telling glimpse of their artistic talent. The course team is extremely happy to inform that the management circle has created a portal for the batch to stay connected and also to disseminate useful information within the batch. They have also created a portal called GovLab, a link to the best governance practices. This contains the innovations presented during the conference earlier this year, which was conducted in Phase 1, and also all the innovations presented to this batch during the foundation course Phase 1 and Phase 2. I must place on record my sincere appreciation to each of the officer trainees for the keen and spirited participation in all these activities, and to the office bearers of various clubs and societies for organizing these events. The officer trainees also displayed attributes of great camaraderie and compassion, from conducting health camp for the underprivileged children to standing by their batchmates who suffered illnesses. I must congratulate all those who went that extra mile. May these qualities of humanity and empathy only be reinforced with every passing day in each one of you as you traverse the journey of your life. I must make a special mention of the 3 officer trainees of Royal Bhutan Civil Services, Denme, Sherab and Penjo, who have been inseparable part of this large group of 170. Their seamless integration with the rest is a fitting tribute. Their seamless integration with the rest of the bench is a fitting tribute to the warmth and brotherly affection that the people of this country have always had for the people of Bhutan. A farewell speech would be incomplete without a few words of advice on this occasion. Friends, in a short career of 2 years and limited interaction, you might have discovered one thing. The happy and the successful persons normally share one thing in common, that is passion for their job that they do and without any sense of attachment. Your ability to give 100% to every assignment, no matter how glamorous or important it may or might not be, is something I would urge each one of you to strive for. Alongside, I would advise you to follow the path of truthfulness and honesty, for no great personalities or careers can be built on the foundation of deceit, compromised integrity, or lack of values. You will soon be catapulted into positions of importance where you would be deciding on the destiny of many. It will undoubtedly place a great responsibility where it will be absolutely imperative for your basic construct as an officer as an individual to be right. As leaders, you will be expected to carry a team and set a fine example for each one of them to emulate. And yes, friends, do try to make your team happy and working environment a joyful area. Dear friends, the temptation of high office and host of psychopaths that you are likely to encounter in the field should never carry you away from your chosen path. I have personally seen many of young officers get swayed in these formative years and tarnishing their personal image as well as that of the service to which we all belong. Finally, strike the right balance between work and family. A happy family provides the greatest support through the ups and downs of life. So friends, career will not always be most pleasant surprise in store for you. Your mettle may be tested many times, and at times it will be put to very severe test. It is then that each one of you must emerge unscathed with flying colors with the support of your family. As I conclude, I would like to place on record my sincere gratitude to the director who has helped the course team in fine-tuning the design of this course at the last moment. He also brought in many fresh ideas, and many of which we were able to incorporate in the course design. He also encouraged us to experiment a little bit with the course design. I acknowledge with great gratitude the constant support and guidance of our joint directors, Shri Sanjeev Chopra, Shri Dushan Naryala, Shri Tejveer Singh, Shrimati Ranja Chopra, and Shrimati Jaspreet Talwar. Thank you for being constant source of encouragement and for being ever ready to take sessions during the program. I would like to specially acknowledge the contribution of my course team, Shri Manasvi Kumar and Professor A.S. Ramachandra. It has been a pleasure working with both of you. I note with special gratitude the assistance provided by all the faculty colleagues in running of the course through their teaching inputs, mentoring of the officer trainees during counseling groups, evaluation of various assignments, and in last few days working late nights in putting up the faculty skit, which I feel was a parting lesson that all of us gave to the officer trainees. I also thank the language faculty, League 2 faculty, Center for Rural Studies, staff of the library, writing section, officers club, the computer section, the protocol, estate section, SNS, officers mess, accounts, reprographic section, ENC section, and especially the unsung classroom attendants. I must thank the entire staff of Training 2, headed by Shri Vikram Singh, Shrimati Pramila Bhavna, Shri Balwant Singh, who have been laboring much before this course began and would continue to do so even as we join in the subdivisions. I must make a special mention of my personal assistant, Shri Vinay Bunka, for his hard work and amazing coordination skills which made my job very, very easy. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope each of you have enjoyed and benefited from these 2 months of training in the academy. As you depart this afternoon to face the real world, let me caution you that the world outside this academy will not have accommodating and forgiving Bhisham Pitamas. You will be judged on far more exacting standards, and no deviation will be tolerated or condoned. I hope you will not let us down. Dear friends, remember, you carry with you both our good wishes from the academy as well as our high expectations from each one of you. I hope your umbilical cord with the academy is never broken, and we assure you that we will continue to care like we always have. My best wishes to all of you for a happy and meaningful future. May each one of you do the academy and the country proud. Thank you.
ये पेड़, ये पत्ते, ये शाखें भी परेशान हो जाएं, अगर परिंदे भी हिंदू और मुसलमान हो जाएं। सूखे मेवे भी ये देखकर हैरान हो गए, न जाने कब नारियल हिंदू और खजूर मुसलमान हो गए। न मस्जिद को जानते हैं न शिवालय को जानते हैं, जो भूखे होते हैं वो सिर्फ निवालों को जानते हैं। मेरा यही अंदाज जमाने को खलता है कि मेरा चिराग हवा के खिलाफ क्यों जलता है। Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request the Director of the Academy, Shri Rajiv Kapoor, to address the House. Thank you.
Officer trainees of 2012 batch of IAS who are graduating from Academy today, my colleagues from Academy faculty, Academy family, and first of all, the family members of the officer trainees who come today to witness this day, who taken great pride in your success so far and will continue to take pride in whatever you do over the next 35 or maybe longer years. And I think before I start on some homilies of my own, a simple test that I read somewhere was that मैं वो काम करूं जो अपनी माँ को जाके बता सकूं कि मैंने ये किया बिना किसी शर्म। आई थिंक अगर हम यही ध्यान में रखते हैं तो काफी जो हमारे दुविधाएं हैं वो दूर हो सकती हैं। So family members have played a very important role in your success till now. They will continue to do so. Please remember that. Today marks a very important transition in your life. You worked hard for it for several years, and then you joined foundation course 2 years back. Although you were prepared in many respects to shoulder great responsibilities, but you were designated as trainees because it was felt that there was something more for you to know, to learn. And today, after having spent more than a year in the academy and almost or slightly more than a year in the district, where you saw the ground realities from a very close quarters, this trainee tag is being removed from you. You will not have the cover of being a trainee, and within one day, you will become an officer. And while as a trainee, you are licensed to make mistakes while training. From tomorrow, you will be judged more harshly. Remember that people expect a lot from you, from us as a group, as a service, and this judgment begins from day one. Please don't relax, because you would be constantly evaluated from day one of your service. Remember that, and reputations formed early carry very long. It's very difficult to improve upon them. While this marks a very important transition in your career, it's also a time for stock taking, both for you as well as for us in the academy, which has been tasked with the responsibility for turning you out properly shaped, equipped to handle the public administration challenges in the country. I'll just digress a bit. When I took over as director 2 or 3 months back, many of my colleagues who happen to be serving in various sectors of the economy, most of them in private sector, heading large multinational corporations across the world, through social networking sites that I'm connected to them now, they congratulated me. I was very surprised, because I never expected them who were working in US or UK or Europe somewhere, heading multinational Cadbury or XYZ, to be even bothered about these things. But they were bothered. And they said, you are going to a very important position, because IAS still plays a very important role in our public life, public service. So even it's not just the government, it's not just our small sphere of public administrators who think we are important, we do something which is worth a lot to people, but even people who have nothing to do on day-to-day basis with us feel that we contribute immensely to the development here in our country. And then the responsibility of the LBSNAA to ensure that what we send out from here measure up to the requirement is immense. And so when I was thinking about speaking to you today, I think I went into a reflective mode. I haven't been with you for 2 years, but I've interacted with my colleagues who have been with you for 2 years, seen you evolve, mature, whether we have done justice. And then, for some time, I went into the past, apart from my 30 years, when we joined service, how things have evolved over the last 30-35 years in the sphere of public administration. You have seen the current reality. We have seen the reality as it existed in 1980s and through the eyes of our seniors as it existed in the 1960s and 70s. And things have changed. Context has changed. And the question is, are we prepared for the change and have we prepared you for the current reality? I think that's a very big question. Let me just spend 5 minutes on few changes, few fundamental changes that have happened, that have changed the idiom of working as a public administration, especially in the field and also in the secretariat. And I think first thing which has changed immensely, tremendously, which impacts us every day, every moment, is lack of trust and lack of respect, lack of credibility. When we joined service, and in Hindi there is a word for which I still haven't figured out a very good translation. When we joined service, we had what's called Iqbal, Kursi ka Iqbal. People respected us, trusted us, because our seniors had performed so well that we didn't have to prove ourselves. Benefit of doubt always was with us. That we would be an IAS officer, young STM, we will be energetic, fair, blah blah blah. We didn't have to establish trust. Not because of us, because of our seniors, because of the service, because of the hard work put in by people who had served before us in those chairs. We have lost that. Maybe our generation is responsible. Maybe not. Maybe things are responsible. But things have changed significantly. And that makes a huge difference in the job. Nobody trusts you as much as they should. As much as your job requires. You are a magistrate in charge of maybe a population of 10 lakhs as SPO from day one. Without that trust, it's very difficult to administer. You can't seem to be proving yourself every day, every moment, but you will have maybe 2 generations more. But you have to do the repair also. You can't leave the same thing for next generation. Keep that in mind. If we had trust, we had credibility, achievement could have been much more. We lost it somewhere down. I think second important change that you will witness, you were very easy with, is, those times, even in 60s, 70s, because of whatever reason, we had very less demanding public. Very, very simple demands. You could solve a patta problem, you could solve a premise problem, etc. as a sub-divisional magistrate, and you would be paid. No, nothing much was expected from us, apart from simple law and order, system, fair, blah. Public has become much more demanding. They are more aware of their rights. They are more demanding because they are more literate. They want service with quality today and with lack of trust and credibility at the same time more demands. You can imagine the distance that has arisen between what we had to face as administrators and what you be facing as administrators in the field today, especially at the cutting edge of administration in STMs, district magistrates or CPUs. Third thing, again, which is linked to the second point is, on the one hand, demands and scope has vastly increased. As STMs or DMs, you are never really bothered about primary education, health, etc. They were there, but today, as magistrates, even as STM, DM, the scope of governmental activity in the field has increased tremendously. number of schemes that you have to administer, we didn't have. But in 60s, very few, 70s, very few, one or two maybe. I think only scheme that got recounting that was initiated just before we joined was IRDP. One scheme. Today we are dealing with 50 schemes, complex schemes, with all kinds of monitoring tools. So, scope has expanded. You have less moral authority. You are more demanding public. And at the same time, something fundamental has altered. We have become weak as executives. While complexity of the job is more, while demands on you are increasing every day, as an institution, executive is today one of the weakest institutions. When we were in the field, and still in its early 80s, we were very capable. Again, not because of us as individuals, but because of the institutional capacity of executive. We could get many things done. Today, whether it's judiciary, whether it's media, whether it's civil society, you have a large number of state and parastatal institutions which have come up, which are stronger than you. And which make your job much more difficult because you are under greater and greater scrutiny. We had media during our time, which was, how should I put it, very subservient. They would be very happy if we gave them an audience and gave them a chai cup of tea. They would never bother. Today, media is very invasive. It is very difficult in today's world to work as a field officer under glare of online cameras, which all of you have faced. Whatever you do, you will be on TV and explain. That here wasn't there in our time. This online is crucial. I mean, today, something might happen in your subdivision 20 kilometers away from headquarters. Before you would know, somebody from district or state headquarters would have seen it on TV and will call you. What's happening? We heard something wrong. So communication channels and media, which is invasive today, also make your work slightly more difficult. So while we are talking on one hand a complexity which is increasing, demands which are increasing, our institutional capacity has declined. And one thing which is very worrying, which has really affected us as a whole, as a service, as individuals, this spirit, the core within service. During our time, your senior would support you blindly. Whatever in the field, your district magistrate, तब दिया कोई बात नहीं. I'll say. Today, that kind of competence, very few seniors will give. You have to be fighting many of the battles on your own. Which is a decline which is coming from within. It's not nothing which is forced from outside, but maybe because all of us have become very shaky. So it is this environment that we are offering you to perform. Not easily. You have seen part of it. But one more thing which has happened, and I would relate more to my seniors when I would reflect. I think of the seniors which influenced me when I joined service. I mean, they were different people, somehow or the other. Maybe they had very limited things to show as far as degrees were concerned. Pure graduates, maybe some postgraduates. But what they had in terms of their attitude, I think we missed today. We have today's generation which is much more advanced technically in terms of knowledge. But our generation and also subsequent generations, I think this is one thing which has changed, the quality, the inner quality of the bureaucrat. Maybe they had, if I can put it succinctly, more qualities of heart than head, or maybe in equal measure. Maybe today we have more qualities of head, while heart is also required. Maybe, I'm not too sure. And when I say you, I include us in that, because I think things started deteriorating when we were performing. So it is in this context when I take stock of the situation, whether we in the academy have prepared you sufficiently well to go out and perform and to deliver. Some doubts come to my mind. I am extremely confident that we have given you the best technical knowledge, competence, understanding of the challenges in terms of technical competence that we could. Rain recounted what has been covered in phase 2. I know what has been covered in phase 1 NFC. I don't think any aspect of administrative complexity has been left in terms of getting it across to you. How much did you absorb because of pedagogy or whatever? Maybe a question, but I think it's very vast. It's much better than what was offered to us when we were probationers. Let me assure you. But then I wonder, is that enough? Have we been able to communicate that when you go out in the field as an IAS officer, as an IAS STM, first expectation that people have of you is that you be fair. Don't do great things. Don't think of changing paradigms of governance. Be fair, be just. You may not please everybody all the time, but you are fair consistently, people would respect you. I don't know whether we have told you. And I don't know whether we have told you whether that ultimately, what matters over 35 years, apart from vicissitudes of some maybe temporary setbacks, whether you have the courage, whether you have the convictions and the courage of your convictions. Because without that, it's futile to be in this service. You will be facing dilemmas almost on a consistent basis. If you take an easy way out always and resolve those dilemmas, temporarily you'll be happy. You'll be rewarded maybe. But what public is observing, they are very observant. They respect consistent courage. It might result in temporary setbacks, difficulties. As Prem mentioned, there will be times when you will be in difficulty if you take that path. You will need support of your family, your friends. But if you average it out over 35 years, the balance sheet would be positive. I don't know whether we have been able to communicate that very, very effectively. I'm looking at within academy. Let me tell you one story which I recently read. I found it very interesting. There is this officer who goes to a village and he enters the field and he said, there was a farmer, he said, I want to inspect your field because I suspect that you are growing some cannabis or whatever. He said, sure you can. And he took out his badge. No, he just told him that he's XYZ and wanted to inspect. Farmer said, sure you can go ahead, but don't go to that corner, that field. At which he got enraged. He just took out his badge, flaunted it in front of the farmer and said, you don't know who I am. I am the authority of the state, I can go anywhere. And he ran towards that spot which farmer had asked him not to. And after some time, he heard shrieks. Farmer heard shrieks. This man is running, being chased by a huge bull. The farmer gets onto the fence and said, show him the badge. You know what happened subsequently. I don't know whether we have been able to tell you arrogance kills. If there is one disease which you should be very, very, very careful, it's the arrogance. Because you would not listen to it. You are so full of yourself. Your authority can take you some distance, but beyond that, it's not authority. Things are changing again on the internal front. Although government remains a purely, very largely hierarchical organization, society is changing. Hierarchy doesn't count much, always. It's no longer that people look up to an IAS officer or a leader just to come as somebody, as a savior who dictates and somebody will just comply. Things are changing with the organizations. You have to work with people. You have to lead a team. You can't deliver only on your own. It's not possible. You don't have all the knowledge. You can't have all the knowledge. Others have knowledge. Public has knowledge. If you don't have that spirit of working, being a team leader, It's not just within team, within organization. You'll have to network with your peers across departments, your seniors, sometimes in the department, sometimes civil society. If you don't have that spirit, this basic understanding that you don't have all the answers, you have to solve this collectively, collaboratively, then you can't succeed. And related issue is how well you act as a leader. Not a macho leader who goes and destroys everything and tries to do something, but as somebody who can nurture and preserve and create. Again, a small story which I read long time ago and tried to remember it today. There was this helper who used to carry water for his master every day in 2 pitchers. And वो जो कंधे पर रख के जाते थे, used to keep 1 pitcher either side and take it. 1 pitcher was a bit cracked, so it used to leak. So he could never bring 2 pitchers, 2 full pitchers of water. It was always 1, 1.5, and 3 quarters. And it continued for some time. This pitcher, which was cracked, he developed a complex. He also felt sad for his master. And once, maybe after some time, he told him, I feel very sorry for you, and I'm very sorry that I'm cracked. That's why you make so much of effort, but you are able to carry only half-filled pitcher to your master. He said, no, but that's not the case. Come, I'll show you. And he takes it. He says, I know you had a leak. I know you were cracked. But I always walked in a direction so that you were always on this side of the road, and see how many flowers have bloomed. Because you were constantly walking there. What does it mean? It only means, relating to what I said earlier, if you are a real team leader, you will understand not everybody in your team would be as bright, as hardworking, as etc. as you. Everybody has something, and it's for you as a leader to look for that something, develop that, nurture that. If you nurture people who work with you, they will respect you much more, and they will deliver it for you. It's not just command and control direction. Leadership is much more. And tomorrow, it's going to be even more than that. Because tomorrow we are entering into an economy which is going to be purely knowledge economy. It doesn't matter who you are. It wouldn't matter where you sit. It would matter what you know, what you can deliver. Anybody can deliver at whatever position you are. And so you have to realize that and nurture that. It is within you. If you do that, it will be satisfying. You will build great teams. But you can't build great teams unless, as I said earlier, leave arrogance behind, assume humility, be humble, know that there is diversity, respect that, nurture that. I think I've said enough, but one more story which I realized very late in the day. I think I told my faculty colleagues in one of the meetings. When I joined as sub-divisional magistrate in one of the largest districts, most populated districts, not most populated districts, but most populated subdivision, and very difficult of UP, Valediction. And I was swarmed with at least 100 persons who come to me every day with their application, some problem. And as I said, demands were very simple, but there were many demands. And initially I thought I will systematize it, I will keep a register, I'll go to the village and village-wise sort it out. I soon realized that it wasn't happening. And there were many occasions that I felt, what am I doing? I mean, how can I do it? There's so much to do, and so many issues. I mean, I can't do it. And later on, much later, I plodded along. That's a different part of the story. But much later, I read this story that a monk is walking on the beach, and there is a small, very young boy. Beach